we've addressed it on this particular stream on, you know, your show. I've addressed it on my channel in multiple debates. Like, do we just have to go through the same song and dance like over and over again?
I think they just want to keep stirring it up needlessly.
No.
All right. Anyway. Oh no, not Howard.
Oh, that's the flat Earth guy, huh?
Oh no. Go on, Howard. I'll give you your usual minute to make your nonsense claim.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. So my question's about Jinn. You guys believe that the Jinn are
You got a
here?
minute. You got a minute. Go on. We'll tolerate it. Go on. Got a minute.
Could you hear me talking before?
Yeah. Go.
Jinn.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Talking
So
about Jinn,
you guys,
whatever.
where are Jinn situated?
Well, they can be, you know, on Earth. They can be in different parts of space. Allahu Alam, God knows best. They could be in other places, other dimensions.
Cool.
We don't have specific knowledge. They're part of the unseen, the ghaib. So we don't have specific knowledge, but they can be on the earth. They can be in the heavens, in the lower heavens. This is the kind of information that we have from Revelation.
Cool. It's because if I may just quickly clarify, I'm not a flat earther. I believe that Earth is more likely a 7th dimensional shape, hence why the Quran says 7 heavens and likewise for Earths. And I believe that if Jinn are a higher dimensional type of flame, like plasma, my Muslim friend Yosef has been explaining to me. So if Jinn are like a 4th dimensional being, and maybe angels are like a 5th dimensional being, then I imagine that when the Quran says that only Allah has seen the unseen of the earth and no one shares his authority, and that the canopy is unbreakable, it's got no cracks. And I've got 50 verses that conflict with the globe model. And I believe that the Quran is supposed to be taken literally about these things. I don't think it's crazy because natural sciences match what the Quran says in over 50 verses. So it's not like we can do experiments that debunk the Quran. So we have to take it metaphysically. We can actually do observations at water level and we see too far, but we're told to believe in bendy water and bendy light. Yet when we go up in a hot air balloon or in an airplane, the horizon always ascends to the level of the observer. Even the Red Bull skydive at 39 kilometers altitude, the horizon is at the level of the observer. So there's lots of observations we can do. We can make an experiment of moonlight and see it chills water within 30 minutes. And it chills even more if you use a magnifying glass. So natural sciences debunk the globe. But we're told to not believe the natural sciences. My point is, we're told not to believe our God-given senses.
Okay, so let's say
the Quran tells us that we're supposed to test all things. Yet most of the Muslims that I speak to are telling me that I shouldn't be taking the Quran. I'm nearly finished. Most of the Muslims I speak to say I shouldn't take it literally. Yet a few are saying I should.
Let's say everything you're saying is correct. So what? What's your point?
Well, as an activist for the past 7 years, I've found the Quran, and I've also found that there's 200 verses in the Bible that support globe skepticism. Like I say, I'm not a flat earther. And in my experience, promoting natural sciences has been the best form of activism that I have found, because it helps bring people to God. It brings people from out of atheist delusions. So I believe it's the best form of dawah, the best form of evangelism, just the best type of worship that we could do is exposing shaitanic deceptions, because they are not just taking money, they're indoctrinating the young to believe that the creator is to be shared with an infinite universe, when I believe the Quran is correct when it says that he's above us, directly above us, upright in his throne,
so your whole
not that far away.
Your whole point is that you want to establish that this narrative is true, and you want to explain that to people, and since it's in line with the Quran, that people will become Muslims and stop being atheists?
I'm saying that I don't know what religion to believe in, but I believe there's one creator. So by bringing people to theism, and then they can choose the religion and only God knows and God will guide them, I'm saying that if Islam is correct, then I'm recommending to you guys the best form of dawah is to promote natural sciences and debunk the shaitanic globe lie and the idea that space is infinite and physical when it's really the metaphysical, the heavens, metaphysical, higher dimensions.
Well, then
Whatever shape Earth is, I don't know. I'm just saying that the best form of dawah, which you guys are all into, is to expose the globe lie. It's not to debate Christians all the time.
Howard, can you shut up now, please?
Sure, thank you.
Why are you not a Muslim then?
Well, it depends on your definition of a Muslim.
Do you accept that the Quran is the word of God and the Prophet Muhammad is a true messenger of God?
I can see there's truth in the Quran. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I don't believe in Muhammad. I just see that there's truth in the Quran.
Why don't you read the whole Quran then? Maybe you agree with it. What part don't you agree with?
Well, there's the part about the marriage, the divorce, where you can divorce a minor and that she can get married again within a few months. If that's understood right, because that's how I've read it and that's how people have explained it to me. So I feel like that's not really from God because it goes against free will. A girl hasn't got free will if she has to get married at such a young age. So I don't think that that's from God. I think that just like the Bible has been translated and things have been taken out and added in, then it's possible that the orations of the Quran could also have been distorted, in my opinion. I don't know. Only God knows.
Are you serious, Howard?
What? Yeah, but what part of it? I'm not trying to understand. What part is problematic?
How did he get to that?
No, but what is he saying is there's a problem in terms of free will?
He's saying that a child can't have free will.
Yeah, if a minor is married, then she or he, because males can also get married in Islam, and that can be arranged. Like this is basically an arranged marriage.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with divorce, though? Why? I don't understand why he was mentioning the divorce part.
He's referring to a specific
thank you.
of the Quran that is talking about the iddah, basically the time that you have to wait before remarrying. So if you don't, so the ayah is referring to those who have not menstruated yet.
Yeah. So your problem is really with the getting married to begin with, not with the divorce.
Yeah.
Your problem is with people of a certain age, male or female, getting married. That's your problem.
In the Quran.
No, stop.
In the hadith.
In the hadith.
Howard.
What drew me to that part of the Quran is the hadith.
Listen, is your problem that someone of a young age getting married? That's your problem. That's what's no free will. Is that what you're saying?
In the Quran, yes, but in the hadith.
Sorry, Howard. It don't work that way, mate. Can't believe we went from believing the Earth is a seventh dimension to that.
Well, that's something to comment on. Like we should comment on that. We can comment on minor marriage, but I think that I was going to say, well, this is if this is not the kind of view that you have of cosmology, like there's a 7-dimensional Earth or 7-dimensional skies, then it would seem that you should accept Islam because the Quran has that kind of latitude, or there's enough, you can have this kind of cosmology and it will be compatible with the Quran. I don't think that the it's clearly defined what cosmology actually, like the structure of the universe, there are certain things that are mentioned in the Quran, but much of it is part of the ghaib. And I don't think we should speculate about the ghaib, but it's like there's a kind of I don't want to use the word agnosticism, but there's a latitude that accommodates a lot of different types of cosmologies about the structure of the universe, the things that actually are not necessarily part of modern scientific consensus,
Mhm.
and the consensus is constantly changing. Like, is there like a multiverse, or is the universe 4-dimensional, or is it 21-dimensional, or is it 7-dimensional? Like, these are things that are being debated, and they're constantly shifting. And just as far as metaphysics are concerned and cosmology are concerned, then I think Islam and what we find in the Quran, it's actually can accommodate a lot of these different perspectives. As like, there's a lot of latitude there, or tolerance there within Islamic cosmology, whereas Islam can't tolerate other things like human evolution. There is going to be a conflict between Islam and what the scientific consensus is, because the scientific consensus is that humans have evolved from a common ancestor. But when it comes to like, okay, is the universe expanding? Is it like, what is the nature or the structure of the universe? That, I think, it can accommodate like some of these more out there, quote unquote, perspectives that are not necessarily in line with the scientific consensus of today.
Yeah, but that's why I asked him, Daniel. I said, let's say for the sake of argument that this is the correct interpretation of the Quran, why are you not a Muslim then? Right?
Yeah,
And
that's
so
why
that's
I'm wondering,
why
because other books like the Bible, for example, it seems to me, maybe I could be incorrect on this, but the Bible seems to be more geocentric in its cosmology, and maybe not as tolerant of other diverse cosmologies as the Quran is or Islam is. So that would be a reason for someone like him to accept the Quran as opposed to the Bible.
Yeah. But I think what he really wants, he was expecting to come on here and us say, no, your interpretation of the Quran on those verses is wrong, and for us to go back and forth and have a debate about the interpretation of the correct Quranic cosmology. And I just think that that's a waste of time. I don't think that there's any reason to really do that, especially
because it gets very speculative.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said, listen, if you believe that that's the correct interpretation and that's what the Quran says, and you believe it's true and everybody else is lying about it, then that's reason to believe that Islam is true and that the Quran is true.
Yep.
You know?
You want to touch on the minor marriage flex?
Yeah, I mean, minor marriage, it's something that is not just particular to Islam. This is something that was universal, and there's a good reason why it's universal. It's because as soon as minors start going through puberty, they have all of these sexual urges. They need an outlet for those sexual urges, and the solution to that every culture universally agreed on is marriage. So for people today to have a problem with it, it's very anachronistic, and it's ignorant of human biology. It's ignorant of human history. And to think like this is something specific to Islam or this is something specific to the Quran, it's just ignorant.
One second. Show the link.
And the other thing about like free will, while we're waiting, like minors have to have free will to choose whatever they want. So if you arrange a marriage, like if parents arrange a marriage of a minor, because you can arrange marriage of someone that isn't even born yet, like Islamically, and also this was in Christianity and other religions, you can arrange a marriage of a fetus. That doesn't mean that there's sexual intercourse that is allowed until you reach puberty, but you can arrange marriages. But then the other objection that people bring is that this contradicts free will. Children and minors, they have to have free will. But the blind spot of that argument is that we accept culturally within modern liberal culture in 2023 that a lot of decisions for children are made without their consent,
I was going to say,
their free will.
My kids go to bed without free will. My youngest one, without free will.
Yeah, so this is a violation of their autonomy, their individual autonomy, or the whole idea of schooling. Like you are legally obligated to attend these state-run schools, the child has no choice. They're mandatory. So where's the free will there? That's much more of a monumental effect on a child to be, we can say indoctrinated for 12 years in a row of his or her life than marriage. But suddenly autonomy is not a concern when it comes to mandatory education. Being in a stable marriage, that's going to actually lead to a better quality of life, more happiness in the long run. Procreating, having this kind of family life, that's more beneficial for the human being in the long run than learning geometry or learning social studies about one particular country's history. So yeah, this is the response to the whole free will, minors need to have free will argument.
Well put. All right, guys, we'll call it a day. We've done 3 hours, 37 minutes. We dragged it out, mashallah. I'm traveling tomorrow, mashallah, to Malaysia. My flight is in the afternoon, 17 hours. Howard, you just keep going, don't you, son? Oh, dear.